not be sick. And the way we do it, we get infected is we aerosolize the dried bird poop. Okay, so you clean out the bird cage, and you get all the stuff gets aerosolized in the air, and you get exposed to the organism. And these are actually discussed in literature. A bird bite, okay, but mouth to beak contact, that's just kind of creepy to me. But I guess you've seen people kiss their birds, and then actually there was a couple outbreaks in visiting a bird park. So my children are the most deprived children. I read this stuff, and we're not going any of these places. So so there, my oldest is 20 now, so I think she's been to every bird park, and she does all this stuff now just to bug me. So anyway. And the good news is that foodborne transmission has not been documented. Okay, so we can eat the birds or eat the turkey, and it is not associated with this infection. But don't kiss your bird. Okay. All right, serology again. So for this one, and you'll see this kind of recurring theme. So if they're trying to get you to figure out how to diagnose one of these weird things, if they have acute and convalescent titers, that's probably going to be the right answer for most of these. Okay. There is some PCR. You can use that. They're not going to ask you what's the most latest thing. That'd be more for the psittacosis boards. So they're not going to ask you that. And treatment again is doxycycline. All right, just briefly just to give you the update on bird flu. The only thing I can see them asking you about this, well, a couple things. One is they may want you to know what how it's the makeup of the virus, and it's H5N1. And this H5 thing is the problem. Okay, most of what those of us here have been exposed to is an H1 or an H3. Okay, so the problem is that we've got antibodies, or we formed antibodies over the years to different types of H1s and different types of H3. But now there's this brand new H5, which none of us have antibodies to. And so the concern is that if this makes the leap into humans and it can be transmitted from person to person, that we're going to have this worldwide pandemic because none of us have antibodies to H5. And the deal is that this will, is going to potentially kill a lot of young people because they're less likely to have, antibodies H1 and H3 as well. So that's the concern. So this has been going around, for quite a while, now over 5 years, and so far it hasn't made the jump yet. So, few cases occur in humans, but luckily it hasn't mutated yet to the point where it's easily transmittable from person to person. So, the problem with this is it's already resistant to mantidine and ribandidine. It's already resistant to Tamiflu, or also Tamivir. So, the key thing, at least that the CDC is working on, is an effective vaccine. So hopefully that will be available if it does eventually make the jump, so that it's going to be spread from person to person, and we can vaccinate people to prevent them from becoming at least as seriously ill as we think this may happen. The other kind of the good news side of this is if we look back to the outbreaks that occurred in the early 20th century with Spanish flu and some of the other things, because again, that was the same thing. It was a brand new antigen that we haven't been exposed to. We now have a much broader armamentarium of antibiotics. And so hopefully, people may get sick, but we'll be able to much better handle the bacterial superinfection that people get. Okay, brucella. I mentioned it briefly yesterday, and I just want to talk about it again because there's been just another little mini outbreak that we need to discuss here. So again, in the most cases are going to be in the U.S. There's 100 cases a year. Most cases are in Texas, California, Virginia, Florida. If you look at Iran, Syria, Turkey, though, 14 to 23,000 cases per year. Okay, so lots and lots of brucella in this part of the world. Kuwait, the incidence rate is 88 per 100,000. They have over 300 patients admitted to hospital a year in one hospital per year, so in one of their local hospitals. So people who've gone to these areas, that's where I'd be worried about. So the military who've spent time in Kuwait, et cetera. The other one that I worry about, I think here in the U.S. is because of data that's appeared in the MMWR, is this group down here. And if they looked at, especially the patients who are in California, They looked at what is the epidemiology of their risk factors. And in general, they were of Hispanic ethnicity. They had traveled to Mexico. And while in Mexico, they ingested unpasteurized dairy products. So if they gave me those three things, so what it might be is someone who lives here in the United States now, and they've gone back to Mexico to visit family, and while there, they were out on the farm and they had unpasteurized